that's real good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 11:11 podcast. My name is Matthew Winter. I'm one of the co-hosts from T10 Collective, and this podcast is all about talking to small business owners, specifically small business owners of color, the entrepreneurs who are doing the work to reach their goals, the pinnacle of the success, where, you know, like 11:11, it's in the stars. It's meant to be. And so there's a lot of work that has to be done to get to where we're going, but we know that there's a higher power that's working to help us get there. And so we want to be able to have the conversations with those small business owners before they blow up, before they become a household name. So you learn about their journey and you get familiar with them. And so to speak, give them their flowers for even continuing to go this far as they've made it. So again, my name is Matthew, and I'm going to pass it off to Simone to introduce herself as well.
What's up, y'all? It's Simone, brand expert and content creator. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk to you guys.
And I'm Donnie Weber, co-founder and head of strategy and operations at T10, everything business, everything finance.
So let's get to our guest. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you.
Take it away.
All right. I'm Dr. Duane Wallace, co-founder and managing partner of D&T Brand Incorporated.
Thank you guys for having us. I'm Thomas Dawson, co-founder and managing partner of D&T Brand Inc. Really big fan of y'all work, so really glad and really excited to be here today.
Really excited to have a conversation with these young brothers, because for those who don't know, we go way back with Duane and Thomas. We all went to University of Maryland. Not everybody in this room, but we ain't gonna show them out.
Hampton. Let's shout out Hampton University.
Shout out to the other HU. No, I'm kidding. But you know, we've seen their trajectory not only as men, but also as business owners. And you know, really excited to be able to have the opportunity to hear from them, not only what started as D&T Brand, but how they took it to where they're taking it to today. But I think a great place to start off is actually, what is D&T Brand? Like, give us an intro for those who don't know. What actually is D&T Brand?
Yeah, I'll take this, man. So D&T Brand Inc., man, we started off as an event planning and promotions company that we started at the University of Maryland. We then morphed to being more into marketing and strategic communications. And now we've actually repurposed the company, and have entered the government contracting space, providing professional services for both public health and for public policy. So D&T Brand is a full-fledged government contracting organization. Anything you want to add to that?
Yep. So we've recently, I think in the past 2 years, pivoted and restructured our business towards that government contracting field. So we're working on, actually 2 days ago, we got our third subcontract. And so we've been working with DC Healthcare, behavioral health providers, the Disability Association out of DC Healthcare, and different contracts based in DC right now, but we'll be working in the entire DMV area and nationally and internationally, hopefully, is the next steps.
Nah, that's super dope. And you know, you guys got your start from throwing parties at campus. You know, these were the cool guys on campus. Don't let them fool you. They was the cool guys. But you know, unlike a lot of other people who don't capitalize on that or see the opportunity in that, you guys saw that there was a business opportunity that can come from it by just being yourselves and being authentic to who you are, but being able to move in a way that you could leverage your network and your abilities to actually be able to enterprise it. So, you know, love to hear a little bit more about how that got started, and really what led into D&T Brand becoming a government contractor.
So one thing you said that I really like is leveraging your network, leveraging your social capital. So we started event planning, doing parties, promotions. We had a lot of resources, people, venues, businesses, different things like that. So it wasn't too hard of a switch. We both, I'm a public health professional, Thomas public policy professional. We both had consulting experience. So now we're tying it together and saying how we can do that together and how we can use the network that we built with D&T Brand to kickstart our government contracting agency, which is called Downtown Strategies and Insights.
Yeah, let me provide a little origin story also. So we actually first founded a company in October 2009. Duane is my fraternity brother, so we have a fraternal relationship as well. We was trying to really raise money to get down and to pledge Omega Psi Phi, the Qs. And an opportunity just presented itself with the radio station on campus. Shout out to DJ Boss Player. And we took that opportunity. We helped them fundraise, and they compensated us for it. And we realized, like, oh, we're really good at event planning. That morphed to us throwing, additional parties. We started getting, like, large clubs and promotion companies in D.C. just wanted to pay us, a couple $100, few $100 just to put our name or our pictures on the flyer. And we started bringing out all the colleges. Like, it was not just, we went from just being the University of Maryland to now people from Howard, Georgetown, G-Dub, Bowie, Towson, more like the whole George Mason, the whole DMV area was like coming out to our events. So we ended up not only just being in the event planning space, but even on campus, because we were also Black Student Union president and vice president, we became like the voice to some extent of like Black students in the DMV. So we was able to take that and then turn it into like strategic communications and marketing. We was able to, start bridging the gap between major organizations and major corporations and underrepresented populations or underrepresented students, not just at the University of Maryland, but just really just across DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And then as we just progress academically, Duane recently finished his Doctor of Public Health. I'm in the stages now of finishing my dissertation for my PhD in public policy. We realized that we could really leverage, all of our experiences from D&T Brand and our recent academic accomplishments to really repurpose that and transition it more into the government contracting space.
That's super dope, super dope. So obviously, we know y'all as D&T Brand, and for most of the time I've known each of you individually, you guys have kind of been a tag team. You guys have kind of been a unit. But talk to me about how y'all even met. Where did that even come from?
You want to take this one?
I'll start us off.
Right.
So we came to school fall 2008. I'm from New Jersey originally, South Jersey. So I came to the University of Maryland. I didn't know anyone at all. So I had to come outside of my shell, be pretty more extroverted than I am naturally. So I had meeting people, shaking hands, getting people's phone numbers, making friends, building a network out. So I see Thomas. I see him, and we're at an on-campus party that happens early in the semester. And there's girls there, guys there, we're partying. I put my arm around him and ready to party, dance, that kind of thing. And he kind of looked at me crazy and like stiff-armed me a little bit. And then after that, I think maybe after the party, we maybe have exchanged numbers, but then we worked on campus together, and that's where we really, at the Black Cultural Center, Namburu Cultural Center, and that's where we really started building. And then he was the guy on campus with a car. Freshman year, usually there's no one with the car. I don't even know how he got the car on campus, but he used to drive us around. We had to go to Target and other little missions around Maryland area.
Yeah, so that story is pretty accurate, man. Like, one day I'm just in a party on campus, maybe first 2 weeks on campus, and somebody just comes over, just puts their arm around me, like, "Hey, let's party, man." And I'm just like, "Yo, my man." Like, I'm from Baltimore. Like, we don't.
Yeah. We don't do that.
We don't do that. We don't do none of that, man.
Whose man's is this?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, man. Duane turned out to be a good guy. One of the things that really gravitated towards me and built our friendship very early on. We both share similar faiths, right? Like, Duane would text all of the Black freshmen on Sunday mornings and just invite them to an on-campus church service. And something about that I really liked. Like, I had grew up in a family where we went to church every Sunday. So for someone to share that same experience and then be bold enough to kind of like, because it wasn't cool going to church back then, to say, "Hey, let's go to church." Then I thought, man, that was cool, man. He was really helpful. I mean, I don't know if he wants to tell us stories, but he was really helpful to me freshman year. I just don't know how deep we're going to get into that.
Yeah, one thing in particular, so that first freshman year, we built a relationship, got pretty cool, and it's something is really eerie. He was born the day before me, April 29th, 1990. I was born April 30th. Our fathers had the same exact birthday. We had pretty similar upbringings, sports growing up, football, basketball. Church was heavily involved in our upbringing. So when we meshed, we're pretty much a combination, like Matthew was saying. We were always together, and we really never had any major qualms. Everything in our relationship personally was transformed to business, as we'll talk about. Went pretty smooth, pretty organically, and we learned together and built together. But that freshman year, fall semester, after the semester, Thomas went home, got, I think, a regular job working retail, something like that, and didn't want to come back to school. So I just knew school was important. I didn't know exactly why, what we're going to do with it. I'm like, hey, you need to come back to school. Or texting him, you need to come back. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, bro, just come back to school. And he just decided to trust this guy we just met for like a month. For like 2-3 months of school, and he trusted me, came back in. Now 12 years later, doctoral candidate, and the sky is the limit with our business as well.
So going back to the partnership, who was the one that was like, all right, let's create this business? Was it both of y'all coming together, kind of just laying ideas out on the table, or did one person have that idea and said, hey, bro, like, let's get into it?
I actually remember exactly why. So we were doing Muse with Way, the club owner there. We were doing a party called Muse on Thursday out of college. So it was our first party by ourselves. So we thought we can just do the party and get paid. And then the club owner told us, I can't pay individuals, you need a business. So he actually told us we need a business. And that's when I talked to Linwood, my fraternity brother who already had a business. How do I do this? And he mapped it out, play by play, on how to do it. And that was November 2012.
Yeah, let me jump in there too, though. I'm gonna take credit for that. When you asked who wanted to do the partnership, I'm gonna say that was me because I really remember.
Shout out to me.
I remember.
Tell the story.
I remember kind of like after our first couple events, I was like, "Yo, bro, we gotta take this show on the road. We gotta really turn this into a business." Now we were operating in an informal capacity as like Duane and Thomas. That was from 2009 to 2012. The moment in time Duane is referring to is when in 2012 when he realized we can't no longer operate in an informal capacity. We need to really legalize this company and make it a real business. And then that was what happened. The story he tells is what happened in 2012, and that's when we filed out articles of incorporation and became an S Corp, D&T Brand, Inc.
Wow. So 2012. So 10 years in.
Yeah, 10 years in.
It's our 10-year anniversary in November.
Yes.
We got to do something.
We about to hit 5 years at T10 next week.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And here we are having this conversation. So it's all meant to be. But that's dope. 10 years.
10 years. I didn't even realize that. Time flies.
So how has the partnership affected you guys' friendship over those 10 years? Have y'all become closer? Of course, run-ins are going to come. How do you guys handle that? Does it affect bro talk?
And I think also adding another level, I know y'all are both very direct people. I know these you as individuals are that. And so in some capacities that doesn't work, where there has to be that yin and yang where someone maybe has to be sometimes more submissive or one person more dominant. Y'all are both alpha males. And so how does that work where your friendship has still been able to be maintained, but your friendship comes sometimes first or second depending on the situation as business owners?
Yeah, I think we work really, really well together. Like you play together, hang out together. Like we mesh really well. I think it's something that we said earlier, just removing that ego. When we talk, it's not a competition. Thomas say, "Yo, I just got this contract, X amount of money." I'm like, "That's live. That might put the battery in my back to go harder." But I'm not like, man, I'm hate. There's no hate. It's just excitement. And when I hit him with it, sometimes you can't tell certain people about your accomplishments. Am I the only one that feels that way?
There's certain people that you can't tell everybody.
Everybody I can't hit with I can hit him with all the accomplishments, whether it's financial, spiritual, emotional, mental, whatever it is, family wise, and that's just God in our relationship. I don't know how to explain that other than that. That's just how that worked out. And I wouldn't say business wise we haven't had. In my opinion, we haven't had any major arguments at all. Not even minor arguments. And then personal friend-wise, maybe 2 or 3 hard conversations, but they were done within that 15, 20-minute conversation. Right. And that's from what I remember.
No, I mean, that's a fact, man. Just to scale back this even for a second, I don't even think it's just friendship and business, right? Like, I was Black Student Union president. You was first vice president. So we've always operated
we've been
in different
together.
Partnerships and leaderships across multiple different capacities. And it's funny because we was just having this conversation this morning. I wish we would have saved it for you guys. He came to my house when he came straight back from Orlando, and he came to my house so we can come here. And we was just talking. We was talking about sports and the importance of how there are certain elements of sports that really grooms you for these moments. And we was growing up when you play sports, you're able to take constructive criticism from your peers, but not be mad at them about it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you miss an assignment in football and basketball, when your teammate is yelling at you, like, bro, you missed that block. Bro, you supposed to get that rebound. You realize your teammate's only providing you criticism about that play. He doesn't not like you anymore. He does not love you anymore. He doesn't want to be teammates anymore. He's literally coaching you through something very specific. And if you're able to compartmentalize that, that's how we do in our business. Hey, yo, you got that assignment late. He just texted me. That was like 2 months ago. I got something sent in late. He texted me like, bro, that's going to have an impact on us. Cool. He's providing me criticism about literally the assignment, nothing else. He's not saying he doesn't want to be my
Thomas.
He doesn't want to be my friend anymore. He's not criticizing my character. He's literally saying like, bro, moving forward, we need to get this like turned around time, get this deliverable done on time.
Yo, something else we do, I don't even know if you peeped it or it's just innate. So when because we're friends, we talk as friends. And we do work. So if there's something pending, because I've been doing more of the admin right now, following with Thomas. If there's something pending, he'll call me. Yo, first with that contract, I'm working on that in 2 days. Cool. All right, so let me tell you about the weekend. And then now we get into personal talk. So we segment that. But he knows I probably don't want to hear the personal talk till I hear that because he knows me well. So I'll just be like, yeah. I'm not going to engage.
Story. What about the business, bro?
Yeah, bro. Let's get to the buddy. What are we talking about? So that's something that we probably maybe learned over time. I'm not sure, but a lot. It's he's born a day before me. Like literally April 29th, 1990. I'm April 30th, 1990. Our dads have the we birthdays. Like it's just we have very similar upbringings. Though I'm in Jersey in the suburbs, he's in Baltimore City in Maryland. It's like we have very similar upbringings. Football, basketball, all the way growing up. So it's just a yin and yang. It's just a blessing that we met each other at University of Maryland, pledged together, and then do business together.
Yeah, that's amazing. So y'all kind of talking about it innately because it seems like there's specific roles and responsibilities that each of you take on when you guys do business together. Did that fall into place naturally, or did you guys make a decision like, all right, I see your skill set is here, so you're going to handle this, but my skill set's here, so I'm going to handle this, and then you kind of operate in that way?
Yeah, to some extent, that's exactly how you laid it out, right? Like, at this point, we know each other, like, front and back. So we know what each other's strengths are, but very early on, again, it's all about enthusiasm. We always come to the table with enthusiasm, right? Yeah. So if Duane's enthusiastic, like, hey, bro, I want to go down to the State Department. I want to figure out how to write these checks and process the paperwork. Okay, you know what? That ends up being his role. Hey, bro, I really like the executive work. I really like going out, having dinners and meeting the different clients and, bringing in, some of the business. And it's really, if someone's enthusiastic about something, why kill that enthusiasm? Yeah. Put the power in his back, like, oh, you enthused about it? Okay, go do it. And then naturally, it starts to become, okay, you know what? This is where he's interested in. This is where, he's good in these areas. And then the stuff that's left, bro, I'm a workhorse. So I want the grunt work. That's how I've always been. If it's something that's left over, we'll decide on it. But he knows he'll pick up somewhere because I want the grunt work. I want the hardest, dirtiest assignments you got. Like, that's just how I'm built.
Yeah, right now, it's flexible. But overall, I would say I do more of the admin because I've just always been more organized. But as we were going, Thomas started adopting my organization skills. So he's just as organized. He's breaking down files and sub-files and everything just like me. So we can go either or there. And like you said, just who's hyped to do it. We signed up. We agreed. When we agree to do something, we do it. So it's like, who's more hype? And then we'll push you that way. And then I'll take the grunt work. So that's kind of how it's been playing out recently and over the past 12 years.
Yeah. How do y'all?
10 years.
So it's interesting, right? Because there's generational dynamics to how you approach it. Because I'm sure elders in your families were like, so what do y'all do? And it's like, y'all do too much. Like, you need to focus on something. I'm sure, because we hear that. That's normal.
Yep.
How do you kind of break through that noise, but then also keeping yourselves accountable of being strategic so that you're not stretching yourselves too thin? Because you guys got individual endeavors, collective endeavors, right? You have a family, you have a wife now, right? So how do you balance all that and make sure you're being strategic while considering capacity?
Yeah, I mean, generationally, I recently just transitioned 100% into an entrepreneur. Like, I don't have any W-2, no 9 to 5.
Shout out to that. It's the dream.
I live 100%. I eat what I kill, right? Like, I got to go hunt every day. I remember a couple months ago or a few months ago when I told my mom, she was not the biggest fan of this decision, right? But I don't fault her, right? Because like she was born in the 60s. When she was going to school, that was colored only water fountains.
Yeah.
So times were different. So she's looking at it through her lens. And it's like, all right, you know what? I'm looking at this through my lens, and my kids are going to want to do something that I might not even understand. But, you know, technology bridges those generations, right? So I think just being able to take like, you know what can I take from what everybody's saying? For instance, I wanted to take on another opportunity, but Duane stays on me about finishing my PhD. You know what I mean? Like I haven't finished it yet. And he's like, yo, bro, you need to finish writing this dissertation, bro. So you know what? You're right. I can't take on more opportunity because somebody close to me who understands me is like, bro, you take on more opportunity.
The big
you
picture.
End up always putting that back.
That accountability partner.
Yeah, man. Like being an entrepreneur, it's no rubric for it, man. You just really, this is our favorite saying. Do what's in your heart. You gotta really do what's in your heart, man. Like you gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta follow that path every single day, man. I adopt what's known as the athlete's mentality. Every day I wake up, I'm like an athlete, man. Like I want to perfect my craft. I want to work on my craft. I'm in the gym. I'm not physically in the gym shooting jump shots or working on my speed, but I'm in the gym working on my intellectual ability, working on my business acumen. Like that's how I feel about it. I'm watching film after games. After a meeting, me and Duane call each other, like we be laughing about it. Hey, bro, you stumbled through like 6 words. You gotta start writing this stuff down. Like, no, you can really watch. Like we call it watching film. Like we really watch filming ourselves. It's like, yo, for the next game or the next presentation, the next deliverable, how can you improve? When you adopt that athlete's mentality, luckily we both are athletes. That's how we rock and roll every day.
It's funny when we would do our business meetings. Usually there will always be one of us would be like good cop, bad cop. So before we go in, it's like, yo, who's going to lead this one? Because somebody has to be the strong arm guy and somebody has to be the friendly guy, we've realized in our conversations. So we've always like, I don't feel like leading today, son. You got it. And then he'll be the strong arm guy, and then I'll be the friendly guy. And that's usually how we've made some good business partnerships, just learning those nuances and communication and locking in business engagements is what we developed.
That's dope. Y'all clearly been at this for a while and have had a lot of success, but I'm sure there were some times where y'all was just like, yo, this is not working, or something effed up. Maybe one of y'all messed up and talk about economy. Talk about that, because that's a real thing being a business owner.
Bro, I mean, we could probably do this forever, man. I just talk about right now, because we've been doing this for 10 years. So obviously it's going to be something almost like every month, right? But just recently during the pandemic, like a lot of our business revenue had came through event planning. You know what I mean? Like even during the pandemic, there was really a pause on events that really killed or halted a lot of our revenue, right? But even before that, right, like during the time period, like I call it our transitional period. I was engaged, getting married. We weren't as attentive to the business, so people were getting over on us. Like we was getting behind on like back pay, and people was cheating us on contracts. My mind just wasn't there, and that's my responsibility, right? Like I'm the guy who usually catches that. So I just realized, like, yo, bro, this industry might not be for us the way it once was these previous 8 years. That doesn't mean we end the business. How do we repurpose it? And that's how we made the decision to repurpose into government contracting, because, okay, he's Dr. Duane Wallace, public health. I'm almost Dr. Dawson, public policy. We got this intellect. We got these resources. How can we take the skills that we learned in event planning and make them transferable to another business, in this case, government contracting, and still keep booming? But I'll let you, I mean, you might have a better... that's a reality too. The first thing that popped in my head is one of the parties. So when we were doing parties, we would get these venues, and the venue owners would tell us they have certain permits, and they really didn't. Man, I remember cops coming in aggressive. Where's Duane? Where's Thomas? We're like hiding, like it's like we were like criminals. It was crazy. So just too many of those visits, so that's why it's a lot more comfortable from my laptop, us on Zoom doing some government contracting. So we still do special events when it makes sense, but because we don't want to throw away the social capital and everything that we built, we could still make money there, but we're focused. Our pivot, our main focus is that government contracting work that we're on our 3rd contract right now. So yo, we got some super wild like event planning stories. Maybe not for this podcast, but you know what I mean. If y'all ever want to invite us back, we can run y'all through some really crazy stories.
Nah, to be honest, there's probably a listener out
like,
there who
crazy.
is either considering getting into the event planning business or just starting out that would appreciate hearing not only the story, But how y'all clearly have gotten past that and didn't let that get you down? Because at the end of the day, it's not gonna be pretty, but you could look back now and laugh because, like, damn, at that moment I thought we was fucked.
Yeah,
But here we are.
One thing we learned early with the event planning, and we learned from all these different guys that we worked with or worked under. One guy was telling us about. So we were working with him. We had a contract. It was Joe. We had a contract with this, and we printed. I'm googling contract.
First step, Google contract.
Party contract, something generic, and we bring it to him. He's like, "I'll sign it if you want to, but y'all gonna sue me if I don't pay you?" And I'm like, "We're like, oh wow, that's what a contract is." So we just learned we have to build trust. It's more of a handshake agreement. We'll have that stuff on paper because it's important, but if we don't have the capacity or the energy, once we do have the resources to do so, you really got to vet people you're working with before you work with them. And that's something I think we've done well over the years. Or if it went bad, we didn't badmouth them. We don't want to spread negative energy. It's like, okay, we're not going to work with them anymore, or we're not going to work with them in that capacity. So that's something we learned. I think how we kept great relationships throughout the entire DMV East Coast with different people we did events with.
Yeah, just jumping in real quick. Like, look what's happening. Like, these contracts sometimes, man, look what's happening now with, like, Versus and the streaming service, right? Like, and they have the resources to take you to court. When we were 19, 20, 21 years old and you got over on us, we didn't have the resources to go get an attorney and really fight a legal battle with you. So people were constantly getting over on us, man. Like,
we were kids.
The entertainment industry, the club industry, the nightlife industry, you got to be prepared to know, like, if you get in business with the wrong person, man, they might not pay you. They might get over on you. So one thing that Duane and I always prided ourselves in, if we ever do business with someone, we're going to always have integrity, no matter what. If we agree to something, no matter what the cost is or the liability is to us, we're going to honor our word. And just over the years, we've kind of, like, cultivated that reputation for ourselves where people want to work with us now, man. Like, now we working with officials in D.C. Now we're working with elected officials. We're working with big-time politicians because it's like, oh, we know that they're going to honor that word no matter what. Yeah, it don't matter. I'll get up in the middle of the night and go drive to New York if it meant, oh, you need me to come do something. Like, that's just how we are built. And our fraternity taught us that way too. So just something to think about for all the young people out there that's thinking about getting into event planning. Always have integrity. Honor your word. Even if no one else in that partnership or that agreement honored their word, you honor your word at all times.
And you know what? That's something that is important, not only in business, especially in business, but in life. And I think having that foundation as a person is super important. And what you put out ultimately determines what you get back. You lead with integrity. You would hope that people then know that, all right, this is a person, a man of integrity, a team of integrity that I can't or shouldn't want to get over on them, because I know that that's not only bad juju, but, like, they don't move that way. So why am I going to try to do that with them? So it's something important to be able to know how you want to be able to show up, because that's going to be what you receive back. Yeah. But there's something that y'all had brought up, which was interesting about, not only you mentioned Linwood, and I don't believe in either of your families you have any examples of entrepreneurs or people that showed you the way. Clearly you were able to figure it out on your own, but you had some people that you could tap into. What do you tell to somebody who doesn't have a Linwood, or somebody who doesn't necessarily know how to get started? You were able to figure out a way, and you had a partner that you could lean on. But if someone's a solopreneur, how do they get started?
Okay. So first, an interesting point, I want to take a step back. So my dad and my late mother actually ran a home inspections business, ironically. But since as a parent, he just wanted me to feel comfortable, job. And as I was doing, I'm like, Dad, y'all been running your own business. So he actually shied me away from it, but he was an entrepreneur. Right. But now, as I'm older, I teach public health as well. I'm a professor. I wrote a online textbook for my students at Morgan State. And I was negotiating my first contract, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I Googled some stuff, talked to my dad. I'm an expert negotiator now. I know exactly what I could teach. I actually taught a workshop on how to negotiate. Like, I wrote down everything as I'm learning. So I learned that from him. So he actually was an entrepreneur, but shied me away from it just as from a different generation. He just wanted us to be stable, go to college, find a job type of thing. But what I would tell someone, what I like now and what I do, there's these courses on the internet. You gotta vet them. But at the same time, some of them are $25, $45, $50. Go for it and take a couple L's. But you're going to find a great resource. That's how I learned about taxes, bookkeeping in the past 2-3 years. So when we started, these internet resources weren't available. So people on Instagram or Udemy, different learning websites, or like the people on Instagram is what I like the most. So you got to vet them a little bit, but it's you got to invest. You got to invest into your knowledge. Take a risk. Sometimes you take a L, but sometimes you'll find that treasure where you learn a lot about business, how to start a business, or if business is even for you. So that's where I would start. If I didn't know anybody.
Let me jump in real quick there, bro. I even think like anyone who's looking to do it right now, you have a hand up and an advantage with technology, right? Like, you know, a lot of the relationships that Duane and I had to cultivate had to come organically through a network that we were already part of. But I think now with LinkedIn, with social media, with all these different apps, just feel free to jump out there. Find somebody who looks like they're walking a path you want to walk. Try to cultivate a relationship with that person. You know what I mean? See if that person can serve as like a mentor, a big brother, a big sister, and see if they can teach you game. And if worst come to worst, man, follow me. You know what I mean? Like,
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Reach out to me on LinkedIn or social media. Yeah, I give you the uplift you need, man. And I'll do it for free also, because I always believe in just giving back, man. The game is free, so I'm giving it out, man. The biggest reason for like the wealth gap, in my opinion, is the asymmetry of information. You know what I mean? I'm not going to gatekeep information. I'm gonna get that out for free. Just lift as we climb.
I love that. And I think also it shows that a lot of the success that you all have been able to have is that just seeing y'all behind the scenes, knowing that y'all are not afraid to tap into your network. You have a strong network, not only through your fraternity, but you guys from day one, you know, you guys were a package deal. And you guys were always good at literally branding yourself as being able to be in the mix and having conversations with people. And so I think naturally the fact that you move in a way that you know that you're going to be willing to ask for help, but you're also willing to give it as well. You're willing to lean back and help somebody, even if it's just something you learned yesterday. You're like, all right, I'm going to put you on game and let you know this. And I think that you could definitely attribute some of that to your success, because naturally you are now creating a kind of momentum where, all right, the more I start asking questions, the more I start having conversations, the more I'm going to be open to new opportunities. And so for people out there who may not necessarily be as initially open, I would definitely encourage you to do that, because getting out of your comfort zone and asking questions, not being afraid to reach out to Duane and Thomas, reach out to us at T10 if you just have a question of even how we got here. You know, there's going to be assholes sometimes who may not give you that answer. Yeah. And that's a lesson in that too. You realize that you can't necessarily have certain conversations with any and everyone, but you're going to hit more than you're going to strike out. And even if you do strike out more than you hit, those times that you hit, you're going to learn something from it. It's going to take you to the next level. So, you know, as business owners ourselves, it's definitely something that I admire about them, because I know that I've seen that be a part of their success. But it is something that if it's not something natural to you, definitely consider as a part of your process as well.
Yeah. If you believe in yourself, man, go get a PhD in failure. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, you got to be able to fail so much that you know how not to fail anymore. You know how many times me and Duane would just canvas U Street or Georgia Ave or Connecticut Avenue? No. We heard no so many times. No, y'all not ready. Oh, y'all need this. Y'all can't get this. We're not giving y'all this. Like, we heard no so many times that it was like, okay, you know what? Now we have a playbook of how to navigate around the no's until we can find a yes. And once we find a yes, a match that fits our brand and can be beneficial to your company, oh, man, we used to light the building on fire, bro. Like, we used to show people, like, I would literally, because I'm like Duane. I don't keep a list in my mind, but if I do something big, I'm like, I want to do this so big that every venue across the street who gave us a no, I want them to see this. I literally want them to see this so they know what they missed out on. And every single time they come knocking afterwards, like, oh, yeah, like, you know, we wasn't ready at the time, or that was the old manager. How about we build this relationship? I love that, man. It's nothing like seeing somebody having to circle back after they told you no. Like, to me, it's a good feeling. So go get that PhD in failure, man.
I love that. And karmically, we do and did and will continue to do a lot for people around us. So in school, when I was doing my master's, I was working at the Career Center. So I just developed the skill set in resumes, mock interviews. So I was the resume guy. So I just got one resume through my friend's friend, and I'm like, you want me to do this? What's the type of timeline? Knock that off. I never even seen her. It was a friend's friend. Knock that out for her. That's just what I do. That's a skill set. That's something God gifted me with. I'm going to put that out into the world, and it just has to come back. It has to come back. So
always comes back.
with our skill set, when we can give, we just get. If anybody calls us, we're answering every question. So many people I think we have a good eye for seeing talent. Some graphic designers help start their business. Well, you do graphics, do one for us. Now everybody's using them. Photographers. Podcast. Yeah, Jay Hill, his first party, his big podcast in Atlanta now. And I just every time just be tapping like I just be so excited. Right. It's like I'm just happy to be part of it or see
part
something
of their journey.
See something in you that was ill. And Bango with Design Taylor and Job Bless Photos and Ricky Platinum, one of the biggest Caribbean American DJs in the world, and we used them very, very early and believe we put them on to like the American clubs, and everybody started using. I just be excited every time I see him. He's excited he sees us. So it's so many people we saw and encountered early that are just killing it in their respective careers, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Happy to have seen some inkling of this person is ill, because we don't work with people that we don't think are ill. Right. Like if you could be our friend, but business, we can respectfully tell you no. We've learned how to do that. Still be your friend. Like, come on, let's take a shot. But you can't host our party.
Humble curve.
We've done that. We had to learn how to do that and navigate that and still maintain our friendships. But yeah, with business, and we were like that early, even young. Like we had, I think, a strict business acumen. So people around us, they know not to disrespect us or even ask us silly things at this point.
Because y'all are serious. Y'all are serious about y'all business.
We're definitely serious about our business, man.
So y'all kind of touched on it a little bit, but you said something about mutually beneficial work relationships. How do you guys vet those relationships and really figure out, okay, it's going to benefit us, it's going to benefit y'all, like, let's do this?
You want to jump in here? Because I got a whole different.
You could go. rock out.
Yo, a lot of times, man, it's not even a rubric for it, man. If you and this person can't even vibe in a meeting, you guys can't even get a meeting set up. Well, his communication style doesn't work for me, or the way that he talks doesn't work for me. Being late, it's little things like a lot of things have to fall in line in order for me to feel comfortable with a person, right? Like I'm very comfortable walking away from money. I'm very comfortable walking away from opportunities if it means it extracts from another area of my life. If I feel like I gotta get too emotionally drained or too mentally drained in order to do this, it's never worth it for me, man. Yeah. And we've ran into so many people that have just been so disrespectful, belittling, and it's just like, I get it, right? We were two young black guys at the time. You don't want to work with us? Fine. Totally cool. But even sometimes people might have great business acumen, right? It just doesn't match with us. It doesn't match with our business goals. Like, we recently, I'm not going to say the names. I still love this establishment. I still love the now part owner. They do good business. It's one of the most popping places in DC. It's just the direction that and we worked with them for like 7 years or something like that? Yeah. It's just the direction that they were going in just no longer fit with the direction that we were going in. And it's fine. Like, we still good friends. We can still maintain a friendship. It's just, I got to feel like outside of even work, my work gives me purpose. And my work doesn't give me purpose, and I can't attach my worth to something bigger for my community, for my family, then it's just not for me.
Now, did you always have this mindset? Because, starting off, entrepreneurs, they're taking any and everything they can get. So at what point were you like, all right, I'm not dealing with the BS no more. I'm really only working with this sort of client or these type of people.
What you think? I don't think we ever tap dance for nobody, though.
Yeah, I think it was, I would say it just takes some reflection. So after we did an event or party or business meeting, it's like the post meeting, which Thomas talked about earlier. And that's where you see, it's like, yo, how you think that went? And then, man, I agree. Usually we're on one accord with how we feel. And a lot of it's like what Thomas was describing is metaphysical, it's spiritual. It's just, did you like the energy of that person? Were they a positive? I believe we're pretty positive people. We don't want to work with negative people. Whether the money is up, it's just figuring out how much your threshold of how much you can take. And we can't take too much negative energy for money. Like it doesn't make sense to us.
Oh, let me piggyback off that real quick, because there's been a lot of times where we have someone's spiritual, emotional energy, but the business just didn't work out. It wasn't really profitable, but we still stay connected with that person. It's like, okay, you know what? The business venture didn't really work out, but this is still a good human being. And then sometimes you reconnect with that person later in life, and both of y'all are in different positions. Like, okay, now it's really working out. I was like, it didn't really work out back then, but we still felt like we felt the vibe. But now we've reconnected, and it did work out, and that's really good too. But something for the young entrepreneurs out there, something that Wade taught us very early on was, when you're in a meeting, never give a decision in that same meeting. Always, we learned that from Wade. Remember, we always implement that. So we'll go to a meeting and we'll say, give us a couple of days to think on it, or we'll get back to you on Wednesday. We'll get back to you on Friday.
Right after
sometimes I got a decision in my mind, like yes or no, but I won't say it in the moment, like, because you never should make decisions off impulse. You should always have an opportunity to step back with your business partner, talking privately, and then come back to the table and say, okay, you know what, this is what we think we want to do, whether it's a yes or whether a no, or whether there's anything that we need to switch around about it.
Yeah, another learning lesson. And we really, all these different people we engage with, venue owners or promoters, business owners, we try to learn something from all of them. Even if they're the worst person in the world, we try to figure out, all right, what did they do right? What did they do ill? And something else we learned from a guy named Mitch that we worked with is, he's like, don't bring up a problem until you have a potential solution. And that's something that we adopted as one of our internal team models.
For sure.
There's a problem, have a potential solution, right? It may not be the right solution, but we're not just pointing out problems. Because what are we doing?
There's no value to that. Like, okay, bro, this is a problem, but here are a couple of alternatives that we can explore.
Nah, that's super interesting. I got one question for y'all as it relates to, like, where y'all pull inspiration from? Like, who inspires y'all as a business, but even as individuals, to be like, all right, you know, whether it's a Jay-Z or like, I want to be able to get to that pinnacle. Where do you guys find the motivation for yourselves to be inspired to then be able to take it to the next level?
I'll say not a person specifically, but a lifestyle. So once I finished school, I was in college for 13 years, 5 undergrad, 2 masters, 6 PhD, straight through. And in that time, people, family are passing, dying, mom, grandparents, uncle, friends, family. And it's like I was in school, so I wasn't as tapped into the brother, the cousin, the friend. So as I have more time now, or making better use of my time, I purpose. Like I wrote down the same way I plan out D&T business meetings. I'm writing out, all right, I got to see all my family members, immediate family, once a year. When are their birthdays? That's probably the easiest time to check in. So that's where my goals are shifting now. We're making some money, so that's a privilege to even be able to think like that and be able to move. I could go to Florida. I could go here to see cousin so-and-so. I could go here to see grandma. So that's the lifestyle is more what I'm seeking, and then my hustles, my businesses can afford me of that lifestyle, being able to move around, see my family and friends, and not be high stress, work-life balance. Like we have fun. We met earlier, just laughed all day, walked down to Chick-fil-A, laughed. Some dude was just staring at us weird. Like we just laugh and have a good time, and then talk business, and then laugh, and then talk. So it's fun. We're not. Once it stops being fun, we're like the Drake line. When stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it. That's how we operate, and it's very fun. Like we travel, we travel and have business meetings. We go to different cities, go to different venues. So it's still fun.
Yeah, same here, man. I think everything Duane said, and then for me, it's just really purpose, man. And finding purpose in everything that I do really gives me inspiration. A lot of mine comes from my family, just from my upbringing. To some extent, I'm kind of a leader within my family, especially for like my cousins. So I want to do things that, you know, they're proud of. You know what I mean? I want to do things that say like, yo, my big cousin Teddy or my little cousin Teddy, he holding it down in this regard. So I want to keep moving in that way. Even other people, right? Like my boy who owns the Gathering Spot. I was at his birthday celebration, and I'm watching I watched his journey the whole way. I'm like, it makes you want to be the best at what you're doing. You want to perfect your craft when all the people around you are doing the same thing. Even sometimes when I watch people I don't know, I'm watching Serena Williams on TV at the U.S. Open, and I'm just like, oh, she had an amazing career. And when she hung it up, she inspired so many people. When I whatever I hang up, I want to know that maybe not in the same gravity of her, but I want to know like, yo, I inspired those around me, my family, my classmates, my friends. I want to know that when I'm done here on this earth and I see my Savior face to face, because I'm a very faith-based man, I want to know, like, I gave it 110% effort. I left nothing on the field. I gave it all out, man. That's how I feel about it. As y'all can see now, I treat this like an athlete, man. I got an athlete's mentality for this business stuff, man. That's why I'm succeeding. All American at business.
Yeah, I think as I'm thinking about it more, we may get more motivation from the younger people or people not above us in whatever metric we're trying to look at. When we get those texts of, I just want to say I appreciated y'all for helping me through college. Like, people we didn't even realize we interacted with that much. Like, you showed me love when nobody else. When we check in with people, we see that, okay, he hasn't been around as much. So just that non-business things, but just social capital, social currency things, we do innately. And that's what helps boost our business, but boost us as people as well. And that's just something we pride ourselves with. When somebody, we just talked about earlier, when somebody invites us somewhere, we try our best to go, period, no matter who it is, because they thought about inviting us. Mm-hmm. And if everyone said no, who's going to be at their party? Who's going to be at their event? Who's going to be at their housewarming? And that's how we built an expansive network that'll move. If we're doing a party, they'll move when we say move. If we're doing business, they'll do business with us because they've seen our business acumen over these 12 years, and they've seen our integrity and all these other different things we've been talking about.
Yeah, you've been able to build that currency with them. That they know what they're getting out from it. Yeah. All right, so real quick, just to wrap it up, fellas. Again, thank you for not only just being here, lending your time, but also like dropping so many gems. Like, I feel like as someone who's known y'all as long as we have, to go deeper with you and to learn so much more about y'all journey from a business standpoint, I think it's very dope. And obviously the transition that y'all made a few years ago, really excited to see how that pivot, where you take it. So one thing we want to do to wrap it up, we got a little game that we want to play with y'all. Just kind of somewhere, just off the top, whatever the answer is that this random question in this jar makes you think of, let us know what you think.
We're calling this culture questions.
Culture questions. Thank you, Simone.
Hey, real quick, as we get these questions, man, I just want to say, man, I agree. Fresh and Donnie, y'all don't even know. Fresh, my first event on campus, you was hosting. And you don't even know that. I came to host after.
Yeah.
I watched how you interacted with people in the crowd. Donnie, I always thought you were a stand-up guy. I remember you had like a real job in college. I was like, how's he
was a grown man since we was
young.
Having a
real job in college and also with his studies.
He was always a grown man.
How I saw that, like, you operated with like your wife and your kids, that really inspires me every day. So y'all don't even know. We really consider y'all to be our big brothers when we were on campus. I just met you today. We can stay connected. So next time I do this podcast, I have some kind words to say.
If you with these guys, you're definitely good people.
No, I appreciate that, though.
You want to go first, man? Because mine is kind of like bit off here.
Who would you choose to be on your business team? Rick Ross or DJ Khaled? I would go with DJ Khaled, man. He's entertaining. Like I said, we like to have fun. I feel like the business meetings, he's clearly making money, so he has a good business mind, but he's very, very entertaining.
Yes.
And then Rick Ross seemed a little too laid back, so I would go with Cal. He seemed like a more fun guy. Nah. Cal seems a little more entertaining to make the business a lot more fun.
That is dope.
Yeah, I ain't really got a fun question, so mine's gonna make it all serious. Mine's is deep. Is what type of ancestor do you want to be remembered as? And for me, man, I'm not trying to get deep into the story, but I've never done like Ancestry.com or 31andMe, whatever it's called. I take great pride in knowing that I come from a people who were stripped from their home, who were brought over here in ships, many of which died during slavery, many of which died during Reconstruction, but only the strongest of the strongest remained. And that's the pride of ancestors that I come from, a group of people that have always been resilient, a group of people that always push forward, and a group of people that's going to always push the generations after them to keep pushing forward. So when I think about my ancestors, man, I think about my grandmother. You know what I mean? I think about my grandfather. I think about people like that I know have always been an inspiration in my life. So if I was an ancestor, I'd just be one that continues to be resilient and just push, the culture and the people forward.
Nah, I love that. I respect and agree with all of that. This has been another great episode of the 1111 podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Thank you, Duane and Thomas, for taking the time out of your weekend to sit here, talk to us, drop some gems, but just share your stories. I think it's super important for us to be able to have an environment where we can share the journeys as small business owners, as entrepreneurs of color, but really looking forward to hearing more about your journey and watching y'all as y'all continue to climb. Looking forward to being able to have y'all on again to talk about the next level that y'all take it. So thanks again. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.
Appreciate y'all,
Thank
man.
you all.
Much love and respect. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.